Well, thanks for watching today. Happy Monday as you're watching this. My name's Anthony. I'm one of the pastors at Real Life Church. This week, we're taking time as part of our Homeschool for the Soul series to say thanks and talk about how to say thanks to different people in our community. And so today, a friend of mine, Lauren Morris, is joining us. She's a local teacher. Lauren, I'll let you introduce yourself. Tell us about you and your family. Tell us about where you teach, how long you've taught for, and then we'll talk about how we can say thanks to teachers in our community. But first, tell us who you are.
Oh, sure. Hi, Anthony. Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Morris, and I am married to Josh, who actually is also a teacher, but he teaches college. And mom of two kids. Ellie is 7 and Evan is 10. She's a first grader. Evan's fourth grader. And like Anthony said, I'm a teacher, elementary school teacher. I've been teaching for 17 years, just wrapping up my 17th year. I've taught kindergarten through 6th grade, all the grade levels. And right now I teach at Washington here in Glendora, and I teach first grade. So yeah.
That's great.
I miss my students very much, yes.
Yeah, I see that you're not at school, but you still have the thing behind you that you use to teach with, right? So that had to come home with you, right?
Yes, morning meeting calendar. Pete the cat came home with me. Absolutely.
Now, Lauren, I know this has been a disruptive season for lots of people, teachers included. We do want to say thanks to them, but teachers are one of those professions where they don't always ask for help because they like being helpers. So what would be some ways for those of us who have kids in school? I know that my kids just went through Teacher Appreciation Week, and we tried. There are probably things we could have done even better. Like, what are ways that are good to say thanks or show thanks to teachers that we could try to do this week as we try to say thanks to people?
Oh yeah, that's so cool that your school did that for your teachers. My school did as well. That was really cool of our PTA. So thank you for doing that, for trying. It really is the effort that counts, especially these days. Your question was about showing thanks to teachers right now. I was just talking about this with Josh over the last week, because this week right now and next week happens to be the two most exciting weeks of the year for teachers in my school district, because it's the week of open house. And this is always the time of the year where we are having so much fun. Everything's starting to wrap up. Open house night is a huge production at our district. Always. We bring in the food trucks. The kids, we have stuff hanging up from string across the ceiling. The kids have made videos, and we're having so much time just to reflect on the year. And I look at these little first graders that came to me at the beginning of the year. Now they're this tall, and it's just such a fun time to see the growth that's gone on. And we teachers, we're missing that, especially elementary. That's a big part of our lives and our families' lives too. If you're married to a teacher, open house is a big deal. But that piece that we're missing here at the end of the year, where we're reflecting on the year, it's devastating, at least for me. Every teacher I've ever known, despite our differences in personality, our differences in teaching style, no matter what our differences are, every teacher, I've never met one that did not have a goal that they were going to fight for to the end to get their students to meet by the end of the year. And I know for me and my friends that are teachers, we spend the whole beginning of the school year talking to parents and talking to other teachers about how are we going to get our kids to meet these goals. And we even have our students set goals for themselves. I had a kindergartner, he just wanted to tie his shoes by the end of the year. One year I had a 6th grader that was brand new to the school district, and he just wanted to read a chapter book by the end of the year. This year I had a student, he wanted to learn how to speak English better. And teachers, we're kind of a crazy bunch. We will stay up all hours of the night on our phone on Teachers Pay Teachers, and we're going to find a way, whether it kills us or not, to help our kids meet their goals. And this being the end of the year, when we reflect on that and our kids are meeting those goals, we've lost that. So to answer your question in a long way, but to answer it, parents and I've had this, a parent did this for me about 2 weeks ago. Um, Parents, have a conversation with your children and talk about, gosh, remember back at the beginning of the year, back in August, when you were only 7 or you were 16 before you were driving, or before you knew your times tables. Think about back, what were you like, and what were you wanting to do at school? What were some goals you had for yourself then? What were you like back then? And now look where we are, despite being out of school for almost the whole trimester. Where are you at now? What can you do now that you couldn't do back then? What changes? How are you different now as a kid, or as becoming an adult? Have that conversation with your child where you're reflecting on ways that you've changed. And as a teacher, there is no greater way to say thank you. And you don't even have to say thank you. Just to have a child say, I was trying to do this back at the beginning of the year, and now I can do it. And I know you helped me by helping me do this, this, or this. And I got that letter from one of my students that told me that, she was trying to write words back at the beginning of the year. And now she's writing a paragraph. She wrote me a paragraph. And I loved seeing her printing. I loved seeing her spacing between her words and capitalizing. Those are the things that teachers are just like, oh, that was a goal that we had, that was met. I helped to do something. And this parent like made my month. She made my school year, because she was just sharing with me something little, but it was a huge thing that she did. It made, a part of me is grieving, and it just relieved so much of that to know that I was appreciated in that way, and that I was recognized for doing something small like that in her child's life. So just reflecting with your child on the changes that have happened this year, and where they are now, and how the teacher has helped in that process, that means the world to every teacher. That means the world to us, whether it's written or in a video, or even if we get it at the beginning of the school year next year. It just it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I know one of the shifts in moving to digital, right? We shifted church to digital, teaching's gone to digital, is so much, things feel just more intangible. Like you can't measure it. So, there's some days where I'm like, well, it's like we're punching air. Like, is it working? I imagine that is the experience of teaching right now. And I love that idea of helping, having parents help you go, well, can you make it tangible for me? Like just, think back on how it was at the beginning, how it is now, and let us know that. So because you don't have back to school night. You don't have open house, all this.
You don't have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even, a lot of that's all gone. So.
Right. Now that's helpful for me. I'm going to steal that because I have 3 kids in school, right? From middle school down to elementary school. Lots of people in our church, so either they don't have kids yet, or their kids are still tiny and not in school, or their kids are out of school and they're grown-ups and they're grandparenting. What does it look like for our congregation if we're going to lean into saying thanks saying thanks to educators? Like, how do people who don't have kids in school say thanks to educators and to school administration this week? What would be some ways to do that?
The biggest thing is, if especially right now, if you know a teacher, or one in your family, or a neighbor, or anyone, if just a note of encouragement, a word of encouragement, just hang in there. And what can we do? What can we do to help you out next year? And that, as a teacher, I'm looking at teaching first grade next year and teaching kids how to read. And, they haven't had a lot of the last 8 weeks of instruction have been taken away from me. So I'll be having to help make up for that too. One of the most important ways, especially for people that maybe their kids are out of the house, is if you have time in the fall and you're able to, come find the neighborhood school, find the neighborhood public school and volunteer. Say, hey, I'm available 1 hour a week to come read to kids that need to catch up on their reading. You are like gold in my eyes. Okay? Or, hey, I can't, maybe I'm not comfortable coming in just because of everything going on, but I can donate $10 worth of crayons. Oh, crayons are like gold to teachers. Or $10 worth of paper, white reams of paper. Like, those are things that say thank you to teachers in many ways. And just also, kids in the neighborhood, or your own family members that are kids, take some time, maybe give mom and dad a break and help them out with their times tables, help them out with the report, help them out in a little extra way. When the kid, if you're watching your grandkids or watching someone else's kids, maybe instead of having them on the TV, take some time and read them a story or tell them a story or share something with them that's meaningful. All of those things translate into ways to help teachers kind of do what we do at school, to help them with listening and catching up and things like that. And as always, any note of encouragement to a teacher is always appreciated. So yes.
That's good, because there are some people who they know a family who has a young kid and they wouldn't think through, oh, I could write a note to that kid's teacher. Yeah. But you absolutely can. Like that would be meaningful to you as a teacher. That is something people probably would not think of. So
yeah, and teachers, we're so sentimental. Like I have a whole bulletin board over here of notes from people. I don't even know some of them, of just thank you notes from people over the years. And whenever I'm having a rough day at work, I just look right at it. Just it warms my heart. So yeah.
Well, on behalf of the church, on behalf of all of us, thank you. Thanks for being a teacher. And I know I can't thank all of the teachers, but I can say thanks to you.
You're so welcome.
And hang in there on those days where it feels like you're punching air, or as you're putting stuff out there and you're like, are the kids looking at it? Mine are. They miss their teachers. I'm sure your kids miss you.
Oh, yes. At the beginning of the year, I tell the parents, your children just became my children. And I miss them like they're my own. It's been very difficult.
Yeah, and even the spot you're in as a full-time working mom who's now also educating her own kids, like that's off to you. I can't wrap my brain around what you do.
That's
super well.
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Yes.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to just kind of say to the church community? They're watching and they haven't left yet. So anything you want to share with them before we go?
I just want to tell everybody, thank you so much for I know our congregation has a lot of teachers. We have a ton in our own small group. There's a bunch of us. And so thank you all for encouraging me by what you do every day and for the work that you put in and you continue to put in. And just a little side note, I happen to be a teacher at the very school that those boxes of tissue were donated to back in October. And I wanted to tell the congregation, thank you for donating that to our school. We used them as we went through the school year, and we still have, I think we have a couple stacks left. So I just wanted to tell you, and also the bottles of water from our jogathon. Thank you for giving to us in that way. We're so grateful. And just thank you all for praying for us and for our kids. It makes a huge difference. So thank you all for that.
All right. Well, thanks, Lauren. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later this week. Take care.